What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So one thing I've really come to learn with this particular Elden Ring approach is the meticulousness that you, the player, has to adapt or adopt, I guess. You adapt to being meticulous and you adopt meticulousness. I guess that's another way to frame it. And that's just a careful preparation before you approach any boss or any major area that's actually scaled higher than you as a player. Right now, I've beaten the very first gatekeeper. That's Margaret the Fell Omen. It's a very huge achievement. According to Steam, about 69 or so % of players have achieved that particular 67.9. That's a specific number as of today, the 9th of March, have already achieved that, achievement. I don't know what it's like on PlayStation. I may have to look at it later on, and neither do I know what it's like on Xbox, but I've beaten it on both PlayStation and on PC, and it's been really fun, to be able to do it. And it took a lot of preparation to be able to go in there and beat, this NPC. I beat him on PlayStation after my third try. It was actually very impressive. I was like, oh my gosh, I shocked myself. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I shocked myself because that's kind of my first big-ish soul boss in a sense, with the big, pizzazz and everything, even though he's not as big as some of the others and, it's not Radon, for crying out loud. I'm just thinking to myself, how am I going to even face that beast? And I was very, very happy as to how it went. On PC, it took me a little bit longer because that character was not necessarily as, prepared as my PlayStation, approach, but it taught me that every time you're going to go approach a boss, and because I don't care about spoilers, so I've watched a lot of videos and I've seen stuff because I want to. I'm curious, it's just my mind, the way it works. So I don't want to necessarily say go look up stuff that's coming, but I'm saying, for me, I believe that even if you don't know what's ahead, you really have to prepare either way. And I find myself in a position where I looked at the strategy that worked for me anyways, for Margaret, and I think, this strategy might work for some level of success for some other bosses. It may not work for every boss. I may have to change my approach, come down, the line, but at least for now, I'm making some progress and it's actually very fun. It's interesting to see that the progress is yielding fruit. So I went ahead in my, video, I made a video on a strategy to beat Margaret and I posted it, but now when it's time to beat, Godric, I'm in a weird place because I don't want anybody to really tell me much of what to do, but I want someone to tell me just something limited so I can take little bits and pieces, modify it, and then eventually make my own little, concoction as to how I'm going to go ahead and approach this, boss that I'm going to be fighting next. And I thought to myself, why not just ask a few questions? So I was asking around and, someone that's actually, in my space mentioned something very impressive, actually, a young kid. They said, why not go try the Rotten Hound? And I said, okay, I'm going to probably go ahead and try it. And I asked the reason why. And they said, well, they add Scarlet Rot to the, any boss that you actually face. And that could give you a little bit of an edge. And I said, that's actually pretty cool. So I'm thinking about that strategy. I have my other summons, the Ashes of War summons for the Godric soldiers as well. That's definitely something that I think I might use as well if the Scarlet, the Rotten Hound doesn't work properly. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. My Ashes of War that I am using are actually, very, very fun. I'm using the Bloodhound step. I like to get in close. I noticed that, which is weird because, a lot of newer people, you probably think maybe we'll go for magic or maybe we'll go for some of the really powerful, faith and, into builds and all the others. But, for some strange reason, I just want to go in there for melee, man. I mean, so that Bloodhound step has been really functional for me because I can really teleport in really fun ways. I really do need to figure out properly, though, how to use it very, very, precisely so that I can get into the angles and the direction that I want and be able to quickly manipulate my camera to compensate for how fast you can move as a character. And so these are some of the things that I'm actually, taking my time to prepare. I also strongly believe that the minimal things too, because these are like some of the more fashionable things, but some things can be easily overlooked, and that's actually leveling up your weapon and strengthening your armament to as strong as you can have it within the time frame, the possible time frame. So in the adventure of Elden Ring, what's going to cost a lot of playtime is, people just running around and doing all kinds of fun stuff. And then after doing so much fun stuff, realize, oh no, I need to go and focus on this item. And it's good all the way, but it's something that after a while you start to find yourself honing in on the focus of exactly what it is you need to do for your character. And I'm just right there, I think, at that spot where as much as I run around and do some really weird side quests from time to time, I still have to go back to the basics. Another thing is also weighing your options. You have to weigh what it is exactly you're able to accomplish. Like, I want to get the Nagakiba, the longer katana that, is available via a quest from Yura. And I've done as much as I feel that I can do so far, but I'm not able to traverse a specific area, or I may not have some items to continue with that quest. And, it's a little disappointing, but, I think I may just have to say, if I don't have this weapon, I'm going to have to make do with what I have, which is the Ushikatana. I think that's what I have right now. And so I'm just going to have to, deal with that and use it. Ideally, the Moon Veil would be cool, but that Magma Worm is teaching me a whole different lesson that I have not learned, in this game. So I may give it a stab, but I think with these items I've mentioned, I would love to at least achieve at least one of the weapons, either the Moon Veil or the other katana. I can't remember the name. I just said it just now. It's easy to forget. And then at least try out this new summon, which is the Rot Hound or Rotten Hound, however you call it. And I'll see how I do and how I fare against Godric, the Grafted. But I really enjoy this process. It's very analytical. It helps you weigh your options. It helps you weigh your stats, helps you weigh your weapons, helps you weigh, your gear and some of the things that you have, like your talismans and all these little details, and how each and every single one of them could actually bring you to a place where, you are, in a sense, powered enough to deal with the boss. Because I really do not want to go in there and play him 50 times. I certainly don't want to do that. So I want to go in there and at least say, okay, if I go maybe 24 times, 24 times, I mean, at some point after, 24 times, you should have learned. But that's what I want to, actually do. And if I can do it if I can beat him in less than, 24 tries, then great. And if I have to go maybe more than 24, then I have to tell myself that I probably need to run around and level up, or at least create a new approach. And my approach is not necessarily working. But that's pretty much the idea behind Elden Ring and the boss fights. And I think the developers actually do want you to do this. And it's very intentional. This is not something where by fluke, the game is just making you do this at random. You're actually going to be dealing with this as you continue to progress through the game. But that's pretty much my video. Thank you very much for watching, and let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. If you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts, if you have any strategies that you feel will be very helpful, leave them in the comment section. Definitely want to take that approach and just soak in as much as I can get, because if I get to the 22nd time and my strategy ain't working, I'll be very happy to take on someone else's strategy if that's the case. I'll talk to you guys hopefully in another video. Thanks once again, and peace out.